So, hi everyone, welcome to the website's call. So, we always begin by the introduction of our newest members. So, is there anyone on the call who's attending it for the first time? The Karya is speaking.
Yes, I'm the newest one, I guess. This is my first meeting. So, hey everyone, myself Zakaria. Currently, I'm a sophomore at Type University, Delhi, and I'm majoring in computer science engineering. And yeah, I've been part of this community for like more than a month, but yeah, I've been working on it, and I have recently put some changes as well. So yeah, that's sums up about me.
Good to have you here. If you want to talk about these changes, you can add them to the meeting minutes.
Good. Yeah. Is it Zakaria, or do you enunciate it slightly differently? But yeah, you're.
No, you don't need to elongate the A in it. So yeah.
Oh no, I didn't hear what you said. Say it one more time, if you would.
It's Zakaria.
Yeah, you emphasize just a slightly different portion of it.
Yeah,
Say it
I mean
one
it's
more time for me.
Zakaria.
Zakaria. Zakaria.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of a
Yes.
Karia.
Yeah.
Zakaria.
No, it's not ka. It's ka. It's ka.
K. Yeah. Got you. Like a Kuh. It's a little cooler than car. It's like, it's not a car. It's like, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much yeah, somewhat like that.
All right, I'm still practicing. Okay, good.
All right.
That's great.
So, anyone else who's attending this call for the first time? Aman, how about you? Have you been to the website's call before? I see you unmuted, but we cannot hear you yet. We can circle back to you later again, I guess. Anyone else?
And Devapriya, were you speaking to Aman Rasa?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Aman has definitely been around. I just don't know. I can't recall how much time it was on this call. But I believe has also had audio problems or challenges on some of the other calls. So good. But Aman, nice to see you on the call. Very good to have you.
Yeah. So since Leonard isn't here, Shubhradeep, let's start with your topic first. Meanwhile, I'll ping Leonard and Yash to join. Shubhradeep isn't.
Yes, hello.
You want to say this, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. It was better before. Now there's a lot of noise.
Subhadeep, I muted you just because for whatever reason, there was a bunch of static on the line, and it was entirely static. So maybe you can come off mute and try again.
Is it okay now?
Kind of, sort of. Let's give it a shot.
Okay. Actually, so this pair is basically for the newcomers form. Previously, let me open the website. Okay. Previously, whatever input the anyone giving to this input, it is not returning after we go back to the next step. Go to the next step, it is not returning the previous state of the form. So this pair is fix this problem. If we now fill this form, and for example, if we go to the next step and even we back to the previous step, it is returning the information, whatever information it's given, and so it's now working fine. So any other changes or any other suggestion if you want to take, can you please give it?
So
Hello.
Mukul, you are obligated to provide some form of feedback.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think it works. It works. I saw the PR, and yeah, it works well. I guess.
Okay, okay. Thank you then.
Yeah, great work.
Subhadip, a couple of 2 points of feedback from me, if I could. One might not be fair, so I'll call that out before I say it, which is I think Mukul might have a second issue open, maybe. So
Okay.
Subhadip, if you were to be able to share again and
Yeah,
try
Yeah,
sure.
your,
okay, that issue with the browser. Yeah, um,
yeah.
yeah. I guess I have to open that, but
Is
Oh,
it
okay.
visible?
So what McCool was saying was that there's one other. So it's great that you're saving state so that people don't get frustrated, make it to the third step, and then lose their work. So that's quite helpful. Their work is retained if they are a very conformance user, or if if they use previous and next to go back and forth between the steps. But if they use the browser's back button, they
Okay,
might not be as
browser.
lucky. Yeah.
Yes, browser back button. Yeah, it actually refreshing the page.
Yeah. So
It means new request is going. So
yeah. So we just can't accept a PR because just sorry, just kidding. Just kidding. There's kind of two issues here, and I think you addressed one, and that's great. And that was the issue of this component, this React component that we're using, Formic, or this package rather, Formic. You're fixing one of the issues, which is great. If the user stays within the confines of the systems navigation, their data is retained. If they use their back button, like probably I would, I'd lose my work. And so as a separate consideration, perhaps we would, the question is like, well, gosh, how do we facilitate the single page app experience, which I think is what we're getting right now. If you fill in the required fields here and you click next, the page itself doesn't reload, right? It's just that form, right?
yes.
Right. So that's a fairly nice experience. It doesn't take us back to the early 2000s, late 1990s, when every time you did anything with the page, it would refresh. It was just very clicky, and so that's nice. The thing is some of us still have been trained to like use our browsers nav and might lose our data. So it's a subsequent consideration to think about. This isn't the most critical thing, but when you think about it, the challenge will be how to not make the experience clicky, like how to not make them go to a new page every time while still retaining any data that they might have filled into the form, even if they leave the page. Because if they hit the back button, they would leave the page. And so,
Okay, understood.
nice. So Mike, the two questions that I have for you are, of the fix that you provided here, I think that's great. And it's actually excites me because is this the fourth area that we have, like I think 4 different forms on this site, and then another one on play.meshery.io. And if memory serves, all 4 are using Formic, which means any learnings that you have and any improvement that you make to one is like the rest can potentially benefit. So I'm curious, of the fix that you have here, was this a configuration of Formic that was done, or have you done something outside of Formic?
No, actually, it's basically the global state is storing whatever the global state is storing the information. Means no other. It's like that way. It's 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Is
So
my code
nothing.
visible?
Yeah. It. Well, it was.
Okay. So it's I'm actually returning the state from this here, whatever stores inside this thing after submitting the form. Actually,
Okay. I'm
yeah.
curious. This is a point of curiosity for me. If you think about the folks that created Formic as a utility for folks like us to use, it's like it feels like that's a missing feature. It feels like if Formic has the ability, if they facilitate multi-step questionnaires or multi-step forms, not losing your work seems like like an essential feature. So did they just not support that? Like, is there not a configuration that we can do to have them to have the package take care of it?
I guess there is no. I guess there is nothing like multi-step
Okay.
form, but we
As you
can
and I.
implement using the format. I was seeing some
Okay.
documentation about this multi-step form.
Okay. And the documentation from Formic took the same approach?
No, actually it's from other site. I was saying how they implemented the document.
Cool.
I mean, multi-step form. I will share in the Slack channel.
Nice. Cool. Hey, one thing, just super dip, as you and I in particular do more work together, I want to say this out loud so that everybody is aware of this. Some of you already are, which is, I'll say it like this. I don't know everything, which means that I don't expect that any of you know everything, which means it's totally okay to say, hell if I know. like, hey, does Formic support this natively? Like the direct and straight answer that endears me to you and makes me trust you and builds my confidence in what you do is for you to just say, I don't know, which is totally acceptable, totally fine. Of course you don't know. Like, have you been using Formic for a decade? No, I've been using it for like 10 minutes here and there and stuff. And so so I just wanted to say, like, totally expected and okay to say, I don't know. Hey, I'll go take a look though, if that's important. And I think it's worth taking a look because to me, it seems like an essential feature. And so if they have it, it's like, well, probably works best if we use whatever native approach that package uses. So it's worth checking out because I think
Okay,
we use this form like 5 times, I think.
sure.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else have feedback or thoughts here? Did anyone else fill in this form, lose their data, and almost punch their screen, like because they lost their data? It's good. Superdip and Makula are saving desktop displays everywhere, all across the world. There's fewer of them being punched. Cool.
I see a couple of newcomers on the call right now. So if you have joined this call for the first time, you can introduce yourself to all of us over here, and then we can move on with the topics. Aladin, this is your first time attending the website call.
It's Aladin. It's my first meeting here with you guys. And I'm so happy to be part of this community. It was like so impressioning. So I love the way Mr. Lee do the coaching work. I would like to thank him. He responded to me in LinkedIn in like 15 minutes after I sent him my first message. It was like a warm welcome into the community. So it's Aladdin from Algeria. If you don't know about it, it's in North Africa. And I'm joining this community to make an impact. I love the idea of Meshri and service meshes. As I work in a hosting company, we provide cloud services. I work daily in level 1 and level 2 issues. So it's like a small company where I receive tickets and I escalate myself to solve the issues. And we are about adopting the cloud native approaches like Kubernetes and especially Docker. And the principle behind service meshes and the infrastructure management tools is so helpful, I guess, in the industry of cloud. So I'm here to learn from the experts and to give back to the community. And regarding this meeting, I guess you are talking about the website. I'm somehow familiar with React.js, and so I will take a look at the code source in GitHub, and I will see how can I help, especially in the documentation part or something. And regarding the Meshri solution, I'm interested mostly in the performance AI. I would like to know more about it and to do more to put my hands on this solution. Also, what can I say? Lastly, is that I forget what I'm going to say. Yeah, these days I'm trying to deploy the machine at my end, my laptop, as Mr. Lee just instructed me in the first time I joined this channel. So I'll do my best to get my hands on the solution and to go make a good impact. Helpful. So thank you. It was a long introduction, but thanks for your question.
Yeah, what a great intro. That's great. Hey, by the way, just a quick note for
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. What a good opportunity to try the Docker extension potentially. So by the way, the feedback that Aladdin might have on just being a user and stumbling his toes on bugs and then pointing out the bugs, that's extremely helpful. Yeah,
Okay,
or pointing
exactly.
out, it really is pointing out where the docs don't make any sense, or where they might be improved, or where they were duplicative, but there's some folks on this call that have recently worked on a Docker extension for Meshri, and it's arguably the easiest way to get started with Meshri. So just a note.
Okay, noted.
Thank you, Nathan. It was great to hear from you. Anyone else who's new on the call? I think Sakshi was new, right? Quick intro from you, and then we can. Sakshi, you unmuted, but we cannot hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Patel. Sakshi. The clickjacker himself. Anyway, Sakshi. He's not on audio. Never mind. Well, it's no fun to harass someone who doesn't have audio. Anyway, Sakshi I don't think they've never been on the call before, but she, I say they because I'm not, had sent in a clickjack, a vulnerability. So they found a vulnerability on layer5.io on the domain. I forget which part of it. Anyway, was sending in a clickjacking, a man in the middle attack that we were vulnerable to, and we fixed that. And so, backstory. Cool.
Okay, so I think we can move on with the agenda items. Sakshi, if you figure out a way to fix your mic, please interrupt us if you would. Leonard, let's move with your topic now. Will you share your screen or should I?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. We can.
Okay. Okay. So if you can share the screen for me.
Yeah.
I joined with a mobile. Sorry. Okay. So last week website call, the search feature was discussed because it wasn't really, search couldn't index it, so it needed improvement, as well as the resources page was out of sync with the search. So the filter was not in sync with the search. So basically what I did was I actually wrote some of the GraphQL queries to improve the search so that one, the resource page would be in sync as well. So this basically works the same way. So filters based on the content or the title or the author, and same works for the blog as well. So that is basically so you, from the title, you think this, like, you can't see Docker, but then it is there. At this point, so that was basically what I worked on.
You did the same for resources, right?
Yes. Basically, the resource, literally, the resource was the main reason I started working on it, because it was out of sync at some point. So.
And you also fixed the lag that was there between the filters and this.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this looks good. So did we do the same for news? I think Harshit was looking into the news thing, right?
Yes, he worked on the news, and I think that works fine as well.
Yes, I implemented this thing also on news and it's working fine. Yeah.
This is great. Any other feedback or anything? And this is the current news page. I think we don't have it in the meeting minutes, but these are the recent updates from Harshit. I think this PR was merged and this is the final state.
Yeah, yes, this PR is merged.
Thank you, Leonard. Okay, there was another topic from you, right? About the discuss forum dark mode. You're on mute.
So can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
So there were some titles that were showing on dark mode. It shows white, so basically it's hidden. Shows black actually, not white on dark mode. So I currently fixed it so that it would, like, the topics would show white on dark mode, so as to be visible to anybody who prefers using the dark mode instead of the light layer 5 mode. So just some light adjustments.
Cool. Thank you, Leonard. Any feedback for Leonard today? Oh, great. So the search works great now. I think you've made it index the entire content, right? Great.
Yes.
Nice. Hey, just a quick question on the improved search. So now on whether the user is on the blogs page or on the news page, they can search for keywords in the title of the posts or in the content of the posts. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
So you can search for the content of the post. Yeah.
Of the changes that needed to go through, to support searching either the title or the content, were those changes confined to GraphQL statements, or what did it take?
Yes. It's confined to GraphQL statements. The only thing was because indexing the body was a whole lot, so I had to use some plugin called the debounce input to somehow perform the search more efficiently. So that was the only thing. I just adjusted the GraphQL to add the body and probably used the third-party debounce plugin to make it more efficient.
Nice, good deal.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so next up, MeshMap page updates. So I think I showed it to you guys the last time. So we are looking to have a gamified theme for the MeshMap page. So we have two components right now. We have choose your mode, which is designer visualizer, and we have choose your power-ups. Another feature request was choose your platform. So I began working on it, but I still haven't found like the most appropriate feature to show choose your platforms yet. So any ideas will work. Like we basically need to design this page to like look really attractive. So any enhancements to even these sections, like I think Lee was suggesting last day that when this rotates, the one which is on top should be enlarged and the other one should be smaller. So slight changes in the animations. If you guys want, you can work on it and create issues and start working on it. So yeah, that's what is about this page. Any feedback right now or any ideas?
Yeah, I've got a couple items that maybe that might interest people. see if I can share. So what Deborah Priya was saying is that there's this plugin, this visual topology MeshMap that a lot of you and some of you that are on the call have been putting a lot of time into. We've shown it, we showed it 6 months ago at Service Mesh Con in North America. We showed it again at Service Mesh Con EU, and then at KubeCon EU, and we're going to be showing it again and again. We demoed it twice at DockerCon, so some of you were involved in that. So this visualizer, like this is or MeshMap itself, this is a screenshot of it for those that haven't seen it or played with it. Or so is this interface. There's a canvas. You can design your cloud native infrastructure. You can design your Kubernetes configuration. You can design your service mesh deployments and configure them. And it's fairly sophisticated. There's a couple of bugs in there. There's tons of features to build out. For anyone who's around the community long enough, you probably inevitably get asked if you would like to work on it. Because it is a little more advanced, we do selectively identify people to ask to come work on it. But if you're interested, just signal that. That's great. So anyway, this page is, well, it will get called out more prominently as we go across the Layer 5 IO site. So recently, there's a new button. It's supposed to be kind of snarky, a little sarcastic, is for everyone to be able to say goodbye to their YAML. And instead, they can use this visual designer. Instead of working in YAML, they can work in the designer. So great. So understanding that there's a bit of sarcasm that flows through the community and a bit of snark, there was this thought that maybe this page, as prominent as it will be, maybe it could have this theme where you would go, like if you're playing a video game, you start the video game, you kind of choose, what mode you want to be in, multiplayer mode or single player, or I don't know, whatever the mode is, right? And then you go down, maybe you choose your player, like, oh yeah, I want this player, or maybe you're choosing your weapons, what have you. So you're kind of, there's like, you can click on them, kind of see what the weapon's like, see all of its details. Okay, good. And then another section might be like choose your platform. Inspiration for what that choose your platform section might be, well, the content would be somewhat similar to this content here, choose your platform. Actually, that's literally what it says, is choose your platform. And so here's supported platforms, even though the aspect ratio of certain pictures is off. I might kill myself. It's amazing how hard it is just to keep width and height in line. Anyway, excuse me, as you think about the choose your platform section, here's some of what that content might be. It's kind of, well, first of all, this section is a little bit ugly and inconsistent because some of this has color and some doesn't. But the fact that you can run Meshery or you could run MeshMap on Docker or Kubernetes or OpenShift or Windows or Mac, like that's the current thought, that there might be a section for that. Maybe this whole thought though is like, is just like confusing. It's not clear enough that there's a parody that's happening on a video game. So please do think about this a little bit. Just the more that you familiarize with Meshery, we want to call out the value of what users can have. And if we can make it interesting at the same time, great. If we can. So along that, I think that the next the next item on the meeting minutes was to take a look at potential other enhancements. And one of those is a rotational call to action framework. Nikhil, just do you want to explain this to folks, or do you have thoughts toward what might be done here?
Yeah, so I started working on it on this weekend. I have something like in place already, but like it's 50% of it's complete, but a bit is left. So explaining what has to be done, basically we would have a rotational framework which would be having callouts in each blog or news or any MDX file, whichever we want. We would be having 3 custom components based on how we require the callout. One of them being the image width, or like only image, other one being the full width, and the other one being last one being the bottom. So these 3 components could be passed to the MDX provider, and we could just use the components in any of the MDX files that we want to have the callout. Now these can be controlled centrally, as well as for each of the blocks we can have custom callouts as well by passing the data whatever we want for the callout, like using the React props that we have. So to demo a bit of what's working now right now, let me share the screen quickly. Yeah, hopefully the screen is visible. So
Yes.
yeah, this is one of the callouts, and the other one would be this. These both are custom components which are inserted in the MDX file, and they are you can just enter whatever image you want. You can pass the image whichever you want to display. It has a hyperlink as well as the image would be there. And similarly, this is another callout with the image you could customize based on whatever blog post you want. It would be having a callout with the content as well as the link to whichever callout you want. So this is partially done. Another callout would be at the bottom of this blog post, which would be which would again be customizable like the other two, and you could do the same for all the blog posts that you want. This is in process, should be completed soon. If not within this week, I can't guarantee, but hopefully soon, based on how it goes on. Yeah. One thing that I had undoubtedly in the issue, in the template screenshot that you have added, it is mentioned that the images would be having a background color of like a shade of green. So is that true, or will it be the image itself, or like there would be opacity also?
Yeah, for the first call to action, the smaller one, probably it's a full bleed image, and so there's no visible green background. Yep. If someone doesn't, I think that as we all go to use this framework in the future, that we would mandate for ourselves that whatever graphic is to be used fits the width and height in a full way, such that there wouldn't be the need for, like here. Okay, so here this is like the second call to action, which is just kind of it's an inline, like if you're looking at a blog post inline, you would see this advertisement. I say advertisement just like a call out to something else, like the Docker extension, something like that. So Nikhil's question is, well, this is a rectangular shape. It doesn't have a border, so you just kind of have to imagine that it's rectangular. If there's text that's within there, probably kind of large text that says, check out the Docker extension and click here to see more. Do you all consider that, like, yeah, that it should have either a border or just a light background? I think the thought was that they would each have a light background, a light green background, so that people could have understood that it was a separate call, something separate from the blog post, kind of a separate.
This one should have, because otherwise it would blend with the blog post completely, and it won't be identified as so. Because the image would be differentiable, but the content won't. So yeah, in this call out as well as the one which would be having at the bottom, those two can have the background color. But yeah, with regard to this one, I doubt if we require any opacity or such for this one.
But it's a good thought. It's a good consideration, I guess. If the image that's used sort of looks like an advertisement, then maybe we don't need a green or some other ways of indicating that it's separate from the post. Because yeah, otherwise, if it looks too natural and too native to the blog post, people might wonder.
Right. That means we should be having a customizable option for that as well. So that based on the image that we are passing, we could enable or disable the background color, what we want, or the opacity which we want for the image.
Nice. Makes sense to me.
Okay. Let's see. Probably by next week's website's call, we would be having the fully working rotational framework ready to like
That's pretty neat.
demo
Yeah.
on the call.
That's pretty great. Take your time, or I mean, this is great. Yeah, you might, Nikhil, you might find that, like in certain blog posts in the past, we have, if someone provided an image just to help with their blog post, we have occasionally included a light green drop shadow. And so as you consider the styling for those call to action sections, if the styling ends up being a similar drop shadow green, then maybe there will be confusion between what's a call to action and what's just a native part of the blog post. So you might, I don't know, think about, you might you might do something else is what I'm saying. You certainly have poetic license to change or try out other things. Something that comes to mind for me is like, how, like, if you look at that call out right there, it's the engage in the community discussion forum. Well, sometimes there'll be a ribbon or a banner that's kind of diagonally on the corner. It's like on the corner of the rectangle. It's like, click me or see this or new, or like maybe there's something else that you end up adding just to help differentiate, just food for thought.
Right. Sure. Let me try out how things work. I will explain that the coloring part.
Oh, good deal.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's all from my end. Screen is yours. So
good deal. It's nice to meet you.
Lee, do you have any other feature requests in mind?
I'm not sure. I guess they've all been. Oh, here's one. Okay. Here's a fun one. I think Nikhil's kind of chewing through this in the background, so maybe we won't. I'll let people read that. And then it looks like, I guess the rest of them have been. Oh, yeah. Here's one.
Regarding that deploy time issue, one thing I've noticed is, like, since we're using GitHub Actions, in that case the time doesn't changes much, because the environment basically which the GitHub Actions CI provides, that seems to be very minimal in case, and seems to use similar amount of time as it uses even earlier as well. Because when I, like, one of the PRs in which it migrated from version 3 to version 4 of Gatsby, the build time reduces by a huge margin when I try out locally. But in case of in deploy previews, it still takes around 8 to 9 minutes or so. So that is something I've noticed.
Are you thinking that we might augment that with some build minutes from Netlify?
That is not sure because considering now the Netlify account has open source license and we get around 25,000 bill minutes. So maybe we could try out some of any one of the months, but since we have so much activity on this particular repo, I think we would get exhausted with the build minutes very soon.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
sure.
So potentially when we upgrade to a new version of Gatsby, maybe there'll be a little bit of improvement. But you were saying in general, like the fact that the framework that we're using, the hosted GitHub runner, is going to have bear large weight on. Okay, cool. What's next? We're kind of getting close on time. Good. It looks like I don't have any other features. So back to you, Devapriya.
Okay, so next let's go through the updates on the new meshery.io. Yash, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah. So I hope everyone can see my screen, and as you can see that the branch is live deployed thanks to Jekyll, and the thing we worked on is the catalog. The catalog filters finally work. Great, thanks to Leonard. He helped me a lot in this. I also made the modal copies and just a small bug that as it downloads no file fails. I have to look into it. I was just talking to Leonard about it, and yeah. So, and also I also have to add the related patterns in here and nothing else. I think then it will be everything for the catalog as of now.
I think the cards are too long. Like on the original page, they were shorter, like smaller in size.
Yeah. I made my instant for and changed the styles for it because we see. Yeah. The images are a bit small and there's a lot of space in the right, so I thought to bring it in the middle too, so that the image covers most of the parts. If we have a different image for every catalog, every item, then I think this would be a better option, so that a person would be easily able to distinguish between every card. So that's why I made a instant change.
So in my opinion, since it's a catalog, I think the previous spacing, if you go to the older one, this looks more compact. Other one has a lot of background space. And even in the previous one, like the images are pretty clear, like I think they are. So, and if you go to the new one, so, say you go down to the WebAssembly cards, there's a lot of unnecessary spacing here, which is not like good.
Yeah, makes sense. So you want me to change it to back on the previous one, like how we had the what we currently have in the main mystery, but
I think that looks better. Any other feedback? Anyone else thinks otherwise?
Like in the new for the filters, I guess if you click deployment, can you click deployment and then again click WebAssembly filters?
yeah, because it doesn't have any data, I have to change it to if it doesn't have data to show that we don't have anything for the filters.
Oh, yeah. Okay. the padding for that green thing, like deployment, like above the card, top right of the card, padding needs to be a little bit increased.
Yeah. Okay. The chip one, this chip,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that one.
Moving aside from the, okay, if anyone else has any feedback on the catalog page, you can bring it up now. Apart from that, I think there are a couple of other changes that need to be done as well. The logo is still skewed, I think.
Yeah.
And have you started working on the other pages, like the blogs and the programs pages are missing?
Yeah. I started working on the programs page today only, so I will. I will complete it soon, I guess. Yeah, and the calendar page, when we deploy it, it shows some errors about the plugin errors. I also have to look into it. It works fine in my local deployment, but it shows error in when I try to deploy it. When I try to even build it, it shows errors. So I have to look into it. And I also have to ask that who made the previous this service mesh interface page, because when I try to look into it and plan how to do it, I face a little obstacles to overcome. So if someone can tell who made the previous one, I can talk to the person. And
yeah, here's the thing is like, actually this might be a pre-optimization to, like, I'm not sure that the catalog is in its current form is like, if you go back, I don't know that it's so the thing that we've accomplished thus far is the ability to filter, have multiple checkboxes on the page, right?
yeah.
Okay. And then what we're looking at though is like weeks and weeks and weeks more of work of like the calendar, the conformance page, the like there's a long list, right? I think the logo is still, the aspect ratio is still off. Like there's a massively long list of CSS issues. I mean, like I won't even start, because I mean, there's just on this page, there's and face staring that down, I would say like it ain't worth it to just have the ability to have a spa-like experience to be able to apply multiple filters. Like currently, do you have individual pages for each of the categories?
For each category, I don't have the individual pages. It's just filters.
So like, yeah, so since last we spoke, like the thing that you've accomplished is the ability to filter two things at once.
Kind of, yes.
Okay. I mean, no, but recharacterize it if that's not accurate. Like what else was accomplished?
Yeah, just I made the catalog page, the ability to copy and the download the card. Yeah.
Okay. I don't mean to chuckle, man, but like, okay, that's like a 5-minute change.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, okay. All right. Good. I think I understand where we're at. Anybody else have feedback on the effort?
Well, I have a small note regarding the design. You allow me.
Yeah, please, Aladdin. Yeah,
I love the sidebar. Yeah, thank you. The sidebar in the new design. It looks modern, but regarding the charts, I love the old one. The old one for me are so clear, and they are occupying the full space in the page. So it's an amazing one.
So if I understood it right, you are saying that the filters need a little more space, right? The width should be increased.
Yes. Okay. And also, I think that if you lower the opacity a little bit, it will be more clear. when you hover over one of the cards, I think give it a try. Give it a try, lowering opacity a little bit, and see what it gives. It's like for me, it's so dark when you hover on one of the cards.
So what we can do is inverse it, like inverse the font and the cover on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Make it more, how to say, make the font more explicit comparing to the gray hover. But regarding the sidebar, I love the design, the filters. I mean, the filters are so nice.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Yash. Let's move on to the topic. So we are at time, but we had the compatibility matrix and the SMP dashboard. So Aditya, do you want to quickly share a guide on this?
Yeah, I'll do it quickly.
Yeah.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we were doing the 3-page layout for the SMP dashboard, which in the previous one we were doing hard-coded one, but now with the help of APIs, we are able to load live data from the Mesh Cloud like database itself. So like if you want to see results for particular performance profiles, we are able to see through API calls, and all the 3 pages are working as required. One thing I added was the pagination thing. So if we click on page, we go to the next page. So one issue I'm facing right now is that since it's all in plain JavaScript and HTML, the selection I'm a bit stuck on the selection thing, right? If you click one should be selected. That thing needs to be worked on. And yeah, that was a quick update on the SMP dashboard. And okay, so I think for most of the dynamicity, like the dynamic linking and all, I'm using the URL, and I hope that's fine. Like, so suppose I want to go page 2, I actually put page 2 in the URL and then extract that from the URL and then put it in the fetch profile, like fetching the API. So I hope that doesn't make any problem. Like, is it okay?
Yeah, Subedi, what did you show that was new? I missed it.
Oh, okay. So I added the pagination.
Okay, great. And yeah, you got to fix the color there, and then you got to fix the color on the left-hand side in the menu. Nobody can read unless those are just intentionally disabled.
They're inactive right now, so I didn't bother to fix them.
Okay.
So like I added the page, what page we are on the URL. So is that okay or?
Yeah. Right, is under burst, you're on page 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the similarly for the show results also, I added the ID in the URL and then extracted from that.
Nice. In that case, page 2. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then the URL that lets people explicitly get to a result set as well. Is that what you're saying? That's really great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Any are we able to show the details of the environment?
Yeah. Okay. I forgot that. Yeah. No, I'll do it today itself. I forgot this. I'll do it today itself.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it. And regarding the compatibility matrix. So this is the current state of compatibility matrix, in which we are showing the Kubernetes version, which the MeshMap components are compatible with which Kubernetes version. So we are like planning to expand this compatible matrix to even show more data and how much our mesh components are compatible. So what we are planning next is to include how mesh components are compatible with service mesh versions, like what service mesh version, like Istio's latest version, is compatible with Meshry Istio or not. So we are looking for any volunteers or anyone who's interested to work in this for some designs and how we can integrate in this compatibility matrix.
Yeah, but okay. So, Betty, you got to give specific. Will you create issues on this specifically for what to be changed?
Okay, yeah.
Cool. And then that'd be great, because then other people can potentially jump in to assist.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Nice.
Thank you, Vicky. Right, so we have 5 over time, so I think we can take up the other topics for the next call. That's fine. Okay. Thank you all for joining. Zakaria, can you please add it to the next week's agenda items, since we're over time today?
All right, sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for joining. See you soon.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Deborah Priya. See you all.
Oh, highly. Bye.
Hey, see you.
Bye.
Hey,
Bye.
good to see you guys. Bye.
Bye.